few of the things I'm going to cover in the video you can see here. We've got spotlights, the discrete winch mount, protection plates, and I'll show the dual battery setup where the second battery is under the bonnet and there's a third battery in the second row area footwell. The spotlight mounts are a combination of Pro Speed brackets that come through the grille and a custom stainless steel bracket that holds the light itself. The custom bracket there is bolted to the Pro Speed bracket that comes through the grille there. The winching setup is a Pro Speed discrete mount and fair lead, a carbon winch 12K with a wireless and plug-in controllers and a factor 55 flat link. The free spool handle can be accessed through the front of the bumper. Yeah. There we go. Very neat. So that's the fuse box. That's the winch isolator, which is both in-cab switched or manually, which is what the big yellow dial is for. Breather for the winch, and this little box here is for the wireless controller for the winch, so it's up out of the out of any muck or anything, and that's all runs down to the winch solenoid. Other than the factory sump guard, which is actually pretty good, I've got APT front guard, transmission guard, and suspension compressor plate, as well as rock sliders. You can probably see there I've got the bottom plates on the sliders. Stop sticks and rocks coming up through. And also has actually been pretty good for sliding over rocks and things at times. Very solid. Okay, under the bonnet, auxiliary battery setup. You can see the Optima in front of the cranking battery, which is under here. Trackside isolator down here. Plug here to make it easy to put the C-Tech charger onto the cranking battery. I'm going to be changing that Optima out for a 60 amp hour SSB battery soon. Most of the wiring runs around here, able to be put up there nice and easily, and in there is winch isolator and other things. The rear setup is a drifter storage unit. It's got 2 drawers, a removable table and a fridge slide. I've added a second table that slides out from under the fridge slide out of stainless steel. The unit's held in place by turnbuckle using the 4 factory tie down points. Base slide on Teflon runners inserted into the base of the drawer so that it's there's no ball bearing runners. Very simple. So that's 300 watt from Kick-Ass. Yep. On top we tend to pack our sleeping gear and generally lighter stuff. Goes on top. Bit of a mess right now. We can charge off auxiliary, which we'll see later, but there's there's a charging point just here and another one there that are both attached to auxiliary batteries. On the top here, got a few canvas bags for food and things. Sleeping bags. The 2 sleeping bags are left and right in the back. You can probably just make out the cargo barrier there, which is a travel brand that is only half height. And that's all we need for this setup because it's only light stuff on top. It's held in with these J-bolts that share the mounting point, factory mounting point. And this lights. Yeah, now this is another thing I did, tailgate lights.
He's a bit of a pioneer when it comes to these things.
Well, I mean, obviously that's not going to show up much in the daylight, but that is gold. To have light in this area where you spend a lot of time getting
Without
stuff in and
setting
out, prepping in and out of the fridge. You really want the light out here. I'll insert some footage of like night time. The front runner ladder, great for accessing the roof rack. And in here I've got an Anderson plug connected to the auxiliary battery system. This is probably one of the most important modifications for a 3 litre engine with the bigger brakes, and that's 18-inch wheels. I've actually got 2 sets, Compomotive alloys, and I've also got Tough Ant steel wheels. The suspension is the stock Land Rover air suspension. I also have the Lamb's aftermarket suspension controller. Gives you more flexibility to the suspension height. For example, this is sitting at an in-between height between normal and off-road that I can get with the Lamb's module. Defender mud flaps on the rear, slightly modified. You can see there, cut out to miss the exhaust. This is the GME UHF. The main unit is mounted under the passenger seat, out of harm's way. The aerial is on the bonnet bracket. This connection I added in the cup holder so that the mic could be stored away when it was not required. Aerial bracket mounted on the bonnet. This is a ram mount, wedge mount, and arm with it to the standard iPad. iPad Mini, and that we run HEMA on that. That's been a good position for, so like the passenger can check things on the map, but the driver can see it as well. But I also made a phone mount with a magnet mount to put my phone up here, and I have the HEMA map on that too. And the charge cord comes from here and is just hidden in behind the trim. Means I don't have to look away as far when driving to see that. Garmin dash cam, it's been good so far, but only really had it for this trip. That is our Garmin InReach Mini, which is a satellite communication. It's a tracker, and you can also text with it, so it's been really handy to text back to base to say that everything's okay each day.
This cover, that's not factory?
No, I got that through a guy on the Australian forum, Chris, who made these up, 3D printed. You can't see it now because the sun's at a bad angle, but most times that's excellent for keeping the sun off the screen. Red Arc Tow Pro electric brake controller dial mounted in the light binnacle, and driving light control switch on the steering column. This is the Winch isolator switch, an LED, so that when it's on and disconnected, and that is a camera selection switch. So when I've got a camera on the caravan, I can swap at any time between the factory rear view or the one on the caravan. I put the dial for the Lamb's module here. The camp cover has been brilliant. It's just zip tied to the barrier, and we just keep all sorts of stuff you want handy, lights and batteries and toiletries and wine bottles, because it keeps them safe from hitting anything else. That's just an eBay special, just for light things, scarves and hats and stuff. That's been pretty handy actually. I took the second row seats out and built this platform. Under the platform is a 60 litre water bladder and some storage container. and then this is the a second auxiliary battery, recently added in the box here. That lid just comes off, and that's in there nice and snug, and it's bolted onto this platform, and this platform is bolted down just down there to the seat mounts, so very solid. So the feet screw into the same holes. The compressor is under the seat, so that bags the the hose. It's an ARB single, so ARB hose, and the compressor sits very neatly under there. And then I've got a remote hose running for connection. Much simpler to connect and switch it on from under the passenger seat. This is a Rhino Rack Pioneer platform and a Super Peg 2.5 metre awning. Testing. Ronnie Dahl here.
Isn't it a front runner?
Right.
What did I say? Yeah,
Those
cut.
two.
That's wrong.
Let's go again.